Welcome back, guys. Let's get right into this. Today we're going to work on our ghost notes, our double strokes, and our tempo by way of learning the double paradiddle. This rudiment will develop all three of these. Well, you ask why, right? You know, the reason why you're here, I'm going to show you why you need to learn your rudiments, why you need to learn this rudiment in particular. The big obstacle a lot of people have is, hey, you know, why? What does this have to do with me? I'm just in a band playing doom doom ba doom doom ba doom 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 ba zat da ba da ba da ba, right? And you know, that's a good point, right? But at some point, you probably are going to have to play some ghost notes. Right? You're probably going to want to know how to play a good drum roll, right? You don't want to be one of those guys that can't play. You don't want to be one of those guys going like this, or the middle school roll, or you don't want to be one of those guys. This is where it's at, baby. When you play a double paradiddle, you get through these first four notes. When you get to this double stroke, see, you're already in a position where that stick has to bounce. We'll look into that more in a little bit here, but that's going to develop your double strokes. Overall, when you're able to control all these little ghost notes and get a nice solid accent, when you can overall, control the way you're actually hitting the drum, that's going to give you better tempo, man. Because that's the problem, right? When you want to have, when you don't have good tempo, aren't you in a spot where you're not hitting the drum consistently? You don't really have control of the way you're actually hitting the drum. Right? You might play like that on Thursday, Friday you might be a little more relaxed. Saturday, it might be completely different from either one of those days, right? So your tempo is going to improve when you're better able to control the way that you actually hit the drum. Not this. Right? So, to summarize, the reason why you need to learn this rudiment is that it's going to help you get better ghost notes because of the controlling. You have to control all these little notes with your fingers. You're going to improve your double strokes because there's a double stroke at the end. Once you get through these first four notes of the double paradiddle, you have to let these bounce. You're not going to go like this. Right? Try that sometime, right? Overall, when you can get these better ghost notes, when you get better ghost notes, and you get these double strokes under control, nice and relaxed, that's going to control your tempo. The way that you actually hit the drum will be dictated. You'll be able to hit the drum with the way that you intended it to sound. Right? Now let's break this down a little bit further. So that's the why. That's the why you have to learn the double paradiddle. Your ghost notes, double strokes, tempo are all going to improve by knowing how to play this double paradiddle. Well, right now you're still like, okay, that's nice, George, but I've always found that to be a hard one to play. Right? It's hard to play the double paradiddle because I always play them like this. Right? That's if I can even get it like that. I don't even have the pattern memorized, right? So how's that going to help me get all this down, right? So I'll show you, right? Let's break this down. So we've developed the why you have to learn this rudiment. Now let's look at how. Let's get the strategy down. All right? It's not as hard as you think. Not as hard as you think, guys, right? So let's take a couple of different approaches. You're going to see too also, when you learn the double paradiddle, you're actually learning a couple of different other rudiments, right? Each rudiment is not like a 6-month study. You look down that list of the PAS 40 or the standard 26 rudiments or whatever. each one of those rudiments, they're interrelated. You don't have to go down the list of rudiments and just spend like 6 or 8 months on each one. Right? So there's relationships within those rudiments. Right? So let's go like this. Here, let's break this down. Let's take these first 4 notes. Right? Those first four, we'll extract those down here. Right? We're going to put our thinking caps on. What do we have? Got 4 notes there, 4 notes there, right? We're not worried about the double stroke yet. A little dirty. You got those 4 notes on either side. Let's look at that though. What do we have already? The sticking is going to denote what? A single stroke 4, right? Let's throw in the accent, just like in the double paradiddle. Throw that back in there. Put in the sticking. Right, left, right, left. Over here, left, right, left, right. Okay. Let's just play that part. Let's just play that part. Right now, if you spend any time at all learning a single stroke 4, I mean, you've played it before. Everybody's going like this. Everybody has played that before. Right? No matter how, whatever sound quality you've gotten, you've played a group of 4 notes. Dare I say, you've probably even bursted it. Right? Nobody does this. Nobody goes. Right? So, keep that in mind when we go back to this double paradiddle. Let's go ahead and put this in there. We'll even put the 3 in there. All right, so I got a what? What did I say? A single stroke 4. Bam, look, we got a double paradiddle, which we already know. Now we've extracted a single stroke 4 out of that. One more time. In a later video, we're going to break this one down too. But right now, just know that you have to just let it float. Everybody can do that, right? Now, that leaves us with what? The double strokes. Your right hand doubles, left hand doubles. See, I wrote them a little bit smaller. Kind of think of them that way too. Think like these doubles are almost smaller than these first 4. So you got your single 4, then your double, single 4 off the left, and your double. Let's play it kind of choppy. When you go back and play this normal, mentally, you want to approach it kind of in that fashion, right? Right? Let's do something else now. Let's start connecting things. Okay, so I'm going to kind of blur this together and blur this into that, right? So even just looking at the board here, what do I have? I got right, right, left. I got left, left, right. That gives me what? That gives me the rough, right? If you can see this, I'm going to write the word rough in here. I don't know if you can see it there or not. But you got the rough. So right there, there's 3 rudiments. We've learned the rough, we've learned the single stroke. Let's say we've extracted the single stroke 4 out of the double paradiddle. We've extracted the rough out of the double paradiddle. We've extracted double strokes out of the double paradiddle. All right? Like I said, each rudiment is not like a long-term study. They're all interrelated, right? Double strokes. So, single stroke 4, double, single stroke 4, double, chop it up. Let it bounce. Now I'm going to start running these together. I'm going to run the ends together first. So I'm going to go digga 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 digga. Remember, let that double stroke you're just dropping that stick down one time. That kind of sounds like, look, if you just look at what I have written here and listen to what I'm playing, I got a rough and then I got that single stroke 4. That gives us what? That gives us a variation of the single Rudiment cue. Single Rudiment cue has the accent at the end of the triplet. Single Rudiment cue. This, we're just making a variation. We're putting the accent at the beginning of the triplet. That gives us a nice push on either side. Now, all we have left to do is to take out this space. I'm going to start off playing it choppy, then I'm going to blur the end, then I'm going to gradually take that space out, and that's going to give us our double paradiddle. Not this, right? Not that stuff. We want to, while we're playing this, we want to think these motions. The 4, the diddle. The 4, the diddle. I'm thinking this, I'm playing this, but I'm thinking these motions. See, on either side, I had this double stroke going. So you better believe that's going to give you a better drum roll. That's going to help you to relax, right? Either side, I had that nice single stroke 4. My intention is to make it nice and light. Now I combine those two motions. You better believe when I get those both together, my ghost notes are going to be a lot smoother, a lot more controlled. Because now I'm not chopping it up. I'm not hammering. I'm not doing that. Not this. Nope. Now that I can play that nice and controlled, makes it a lot easier to play in tempo. A lot easier to play in tempo, right? Right? So check that out, guys. Look, we got, like I said, by learning one rudiment, we've learned what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rudiments inside of one lesson, right? And overall, you know, hey, when we take it to the drum set, because guys, what you miss out when you think of drum rudiments as just like licks to be played directly on the drum set, you miss out, right? I always say too, I mean, rudiments, they can be, look at them as a prerequisite to playing good drum set, right? A football player doesn't have a problem going to a weight gym, right? Doesn't have a problem going to the gym and lifting weights, right? Think if football players didn't lift weights, right? And they said, the coach says, hey, Joe, man, how come you're not, how come you haven't been in the gym lately? What's going on, man? Is everything okay? And they say, no, that's okay. No, coach, I'm okay. Yeah, the thing is, I don't want to go to the gym anymore because we don't lift weights during the football game, right? We don't have a bench press on the 50-yard line, right? We don't have a squat rack down by the goalpost. So since we don't directly use weights in the football game, there's no reason to lift weights, right, coach? Right? And then he slaps the guy silly, right? No. That's the kind of the logic of not learning your rudiments. People say, well, I don't want to learn my rudiments because, hey, I don't use this on the drum set directly. I'm telling you, man, you can tell people that you can tell right away when someone doesn't know their rudiments. When they get on the drum set, you can tell right away. Again, just depending on your situation, but yeah, you can tell when people know what they're doing with, their traditional rudiments. I mean, you can tell. It's just, you're better off knowing them than not knowing them. I'll just put it that way, Check this out. Let's look at one more approach. So that's this approach, right? We kind of blew it up into the 4s and the 2s, right? I'm going to give you an even easier way to play this, an even easier breakdown. And guys, like I said, I'm just teaching you guys the way I teach a regular drum lesson in person. I'm not going to use any fancy editing, anything like that. That's not the way. You're not going to have any fancy cartoons or anything here today. So another way, an even better way to develop your ghost notes, this kind of a ghost note, double stroke, direct approach. Right, 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 left, 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 left. Just playing it the skeleton way. Right, 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 left, 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 left. Just play the skeleton of each side, and you are going to see your ghost notes, your drum rolls improve exponentially, very quickly. You hit that big accent, you got to come down right away and hit those last couple of taps. Ooh, that's going to develop your ghost notes. And in turn, developing those ghost notes is going to develop your sound quality too, but it's also going to develop, like I said, like we said before, it's going to develop your tempo a lot faster, right? You play with intention, you play the way that it's going to make you sound the way that you intended to sound on that drum set, right? So guys, hey, now you have plenty of reasons to learn the double paradiddle, right? We blew up like 5 different rudiments out of this thing, and we showed you a direct method, which is going to develop your ghost notes and your double strokes even more, right, guys? So I want you to go ahead. Hey, man, now you have no excuse to not learn this, right? You know why you want to do it, and now you know how to approach it. So, hey, it's time to practice, guys. But I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much. If you could just take a minute down below, click that subscribe button, click that, give me one of these, give me one of those. I'd greatly appreciate it. Come back to this video later after you've done this a little bit, you've gone through these exercises. Take each step, kind of pause it, throughout the video, come back and revisit this. Let me know how you're doing here in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.